Awesome. Well, I'm gonna just to get started. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming tonight to the Co-op and Careers live stream here at Trent. This is an Advantage live stream. My name is Grace. I'm an enrollment advisor here at Trent, and I'll be your moderator to help answer questions and help moderate tonight's live stream. I'm also joined alongside our wonderful experts in co-op and experiential learning. We have Sabrina and Nicole. So whether you are a current student or a prospective student here at Trent, or you're simply just interested in learning more about co-op and how to leverage your educational career at Trent, we'll be diving deep into the co-op opportunities that Trent has to offer, as well as different opportunities for you when you come to Trent. Before we get started, I want everyone to know that we're here to answer any of your questions, so feel free to drop them in the Q&A, and then we'll go through them at the end, or if there's anything in the chat that you would also like to message, I'll try my best to answer them, and if we don't get to them, don't worry, we'll get to them at the end. So Sabrina and Nicole, feel free to introduce yourselves and get started on your awesome presentation tonight.
Thanks, Grace. Hi, everyone. My name is Sabrina Kuipers. I'm the manager of Work Integrated Learning at Trent University, and I work in career space alongside my colleague, Nicole. So I will let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Holden. I work as a co-op coordinator in career space, and my current programs of focus are in arts and science and the humanities.
Thanks, Nicole. And so we're just going to get started today. And today we're here to talk to you all about co-op careers and all of the experiential learning opportunities at Trent University. So I mentioned that we work at Career Space. There's a photo right there on the slide of where we're located. So we're located on the main Peterborough campus in the Student Center on the top floor. And you can come to us at any point in your journey here at Trent. So definitely don't wait until you're in an upper year. Please come see us when you're in first year and learn about all the great offerings available to you. We're also a service that's available to all alumni. So no matter at what point after you graduate from Trent, you can always reach back out and get some career support. And some of the things we can support you with are career advising and counseling. We offer weekly drop-in workshops and then also different workshops that you might have in some of your scheduled classes. We offer, as of next fall, we will have 34 undergraduate co-op programs, and we facilitate most of them out of the Career Space office. We also have a number of experiential learning opportunities, and Nicole's going to touch a little bit on that in the next slide, as well as community-based research. CareerSpace is home to the Trent Community Research Center. And we also run a number of events. So we run events both on campus and off campus. We bring employers to campus, volunteer organizations, and have lots of opportunities for networking.
So at Trent and under Career Space, we have a number of wonderful experiential learning opportunities for you to take part in during your studies. Here, I'm just going to touch on them briefly because we'll have time to go into each type of experiential learning more in depth later on in the presentation. But to start, cooperative education, also called co-op, is a form of work integrated learning where students alternate between study terms and paid work terms throughout their degree program. It's a really great way to build hands-on work experience while you're still in school. We also have internships, which similar to co-op are paid opportunities, but they're also for academic credit. So you're taking them as part of your course load as well. We have field placements, which are for academic credit, typically unpaid opportunities, and you would take a field placement alongside other courses that you're taking in your program. They're most often about 1 day a week during a semester. We have community-based research, which allows students to partake in a research project in partnership with a community organization. We have community service learning, which is kind of like volunteer experience as part of an academic course where you're going out into the community and contributing to a project or initiative. And then, of course, we have professional practicum, which is built into some specific programs like social work, for example. And this is where you're out in the workplace in a professional setting and you're supervised by a licensed professional in a particular field. And these can be more full-time experiences.
Okay, so the first form of experiential learning that we're going to dive into is co-op. As I mentioned, we do have quite a number of co-op programs at the institution, so we always have a lot of interest in learning a little bit more about co-op. So as Nicole mentioned, co-op is an opportunity where students have the unique experience of alternating between full-time study terms while they're here on campus and full-time paid work experiences. So all of the work experiences are usually around 35 hours per week, and you are full-time with the employer. So during that time, you are not on Trent, you're not taking courses, you're not paying tuition, you are out with an employer for a full-time experience. Co-op really differs from other forms of experiential learning in that it simulates a real-world recruitment process. So the intent is really to prepare you for life after graduation and getting all of those great connections and also being supported and learn a little bit more about what you're going to face in the labor market. So you'll learn how to apply to jobs, how to have a successful interview, and then gain an offer of employment, and then what it's like to actually be out in the workplace. You're going to gain marketable skills through your co-op work terms. So it's an opportunity to build on some technical skills, but also those great transferable skills or skills that you might know as soft skills. So things like communication, organization, leadership, interpersonal skills. You're really going to be able to hone those skills and market them for your future work terms. And as I mentioned, you'll have an understanding of the labor market. You'll learn how to conduct labor market research and have an understanding of what is going on in different industries. And one of the best parts about co-op is really that you get connected to potential future employers, industry mentors, and professionals, and you have that opportunity to really build your network. We often like to say that co-op is a really great exercise in career exploration because you do have an opportunity to try out different sorts of work experiences in different fields and get a better sense of what's the right fit for you and what might not be such a good fit. So you get that knowledge while you're with us studying, and it really better informs your life when you graduate and finish from a co-op program.
As Sabrina mentioned, we have a lot of different co-op programs at Trent. So we're up to over 30 co-op programs as of fall coming up. So as you can see, we have programs across the humanities and social sciences, business, and sciences. We have some programs highlighted here because they'll be new as of fall 2025. So accounting and economics, artificial intelligence, chemistry, and psychology are all new as of this coming fall, which is very exciting. And I also want to note that some programs may only be offered at the Peterborough campus, and some are only offered at the Durham campus. So for example, artificial intelligence is only offered at Durham, same with communications. And then we have a few programs that are offered at both campuses. So business administration accounting, criminology, English literature, and sociology. So that's important to keep in mind when you're applying to co-op programs, is that the offerings differ between the Peterborough and the Durham campuses.
So we also just wanted to give everybody a visual so you have an understanding when we talk about alternating between being on campus for full-time study terms and then out to work for full-time work terms. So this is a sample work term schedule. The majority of our co-op programs that follow what we call an alternating model, which is what you see on the screen right now, follows this exact schedule. So that's why we like to use it as an example. And so anytime you see an orange study term, you would be on campus studying. And anytime you see a blue work term, you would be out with a host employer for full-time paid work experience. We often get questions from students saying, can I deviate from this schedule or can I change when my work terms are? And the answer is no. So there is a reason that every program has a set work term schedule. All of the programs make sure that all of your required academic course offerings are going to be available around these scheduled work terms. And we also do some work on our end in career space to look through our employer partnerships and do some job developing to understand what seasons are good for you to be working based on your program and some of the fields that you might be interested in. So this is what we call a co-op alternating model. So this is how it's spaced out here. So just to note, where you see work term 2 and 3, so year 3 summer and year 4 fall in this example, they are what we call back-to-back. So this is an opportunity to complete one single 8-month experience, because every term at Trent is in a 4-month block, or you could complete 2 separate 4-month experiences. So that would really depend on what you're interested in and the opportunity that you do secure.
And in contrast to the co-op alternating work term schedule, we also have something called a co-op continuing work term schedule. So as you can see here, this is a 5-year model. So your program will be 5 years to complete overall. And similar to the alternating, you have study terms where you're on campus studying, and then you have the blue work terms where you are out to work with an employer. In this model, you also have some summers off. So as you can see, the summers of year 1 and 2, you would have off, and then your very first work term would take place in the summer after year 3. Another interesting thing with the co-op continuing model is that all 3 of your work terms are back to back. So you're completing one continuous longer term experience with an organization that is up to about 12 months in total. So a little bit of a different structure. Many of our science programs follow the co-op continuing model. For example, software engineering and kinesiology. They would both follow this model. And then our new science programs that are coming in fall 2025, like chemistry and psychology, will also follow the co-op continuing model.
And we also want to make sure we go through co-op student requirements so you have an understanding of what you need to get admitted into a co-op program, and then the things you have to do to make sure that you remain in co-op. So here we have our admission requirements. So for every single co-op program at Trent, we're looking for a minimum 80% cumulative average. Different programs might have higher average ranges for admissions depending on how competitive they are. And we also are looking at, for every program, a minimum of 60% in grade 12 English. There are specific programs, mostly across the science disciplines, that have additional requirements. And so these are listed in your view book. So if you don't have a physical view book, you can access a view book on the Trent University website. And I'm sure Grace can provide some more information about how to access a view book. And if anyone has any specific questions about a certain program, we're happy to answer that at the end of the presentation. Once you are admitted to co-op, there are things we need to do to stay in co-op, and those are called our co-op progression requirements. So we do need to maintain a minimum cumulative average. This can differ depending on the program you're in, but the majority of them we're looking for a 75% cumulative GPA during your studies at Trent. And some programs require also that you have certain grades in specific courses. We also are looking for all students to complete mandatory career development and preparatory workshops and or foundational co-op courses, depending on the program. And so those are listed here. We have our preparatory pre-first work term course called Co-op 2000H, where you'll learn everything you need to know to confidently secure your first work term, how to be professional at work, your rights in the workplace, as well as things just to support your own career development. And then we have Co-op 4000H, which is a course that you will complete after your final work term experience, often in your last semester here with us. And that is a capstone course to go through your co-op experiences as a whole and to prepare you for life post-graduation, whether that's looking for full-time work or pursuing further studies or pursuing self-employment, whatever that might be for you. For both of those courses, if you are required to take them, depending on your program, we're looking at a minimum 65% in each to remain in co-op. And then for your work terms and evaluations, so those work term experiences that you do complete, we're looking for you to complete learning objectives in your first week of work, a midterm evaluation, just to see how your work term experience is going about halfway through, and an employer will also complete that evaluation. And then a final evaluation at the end of your experience. And then students also complete a final work term report that's a written reflective report and or a presentation, depending on the program you're in. Once we receive all of the documents from you and we do have successful employer evaluations on file, you will have completed your work term experience. And students do need to pass all three of their work term experiences in order to graduate with the co-op designation noted on their degree parchment.
Well, our co-op students at Trent get up to some very interesting things on their work terms, and we really wanted to showcase that to you so you can see some examples of the types of work terms you could be pursuing. So here we have a conservation biology co-op in aquatic monitoring and research. They were working as a technician with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. We have a computer science co-op student who worked as an application specialist and a business and data analyst with Peterborough Utilities Group. We have a gender and social justice co-op student who had an incredible role as a program manager for the FemSTEAM program, which is a program about promoting STEM careers to women. And that was with Junior Achievement of Northern and Eastern Ontario. And then finally, we have an Indigenous Studies co-op student here who worked as an Indigenous history researcher with Oshawa Public Libraries. So there's really such a wide range of things you can do and so many great opportunities you can explore, no matter which co-op program you choose to pursue.
Okay, and so shifting away from co-op to some other great forms of experiential learning, we just wanted to give you some examples of some placements and some practicums that are available in different programs at Trent. So we do have placements in things like forensic science, the School of Business for business, accounting, economics. We have School of the Environment placements, conservation biology, political studies, logistics and supply chain management at our Durham campus, international or global development studies. And then we also have some practicums. So some examples are here, like social work and nursing and education. Most of the placements and practicums are facilitated out of the academic departments themselves. So we really do encourage students with any specific questions about a certain program's placement or practicum to definitely reach out to the academic program directly, and they would be happy to share some more information. We typically see placements and practicum courses in upper year of studies, so typically more in your fourth year, with some maybe available in your third year as well.
Community-based research is another experiential opportunity available to you as a student at Trent. Community-based research typically also takes place in the upper years of your program. And these opportunities are coordinated by the Trent Community Research Center, which is part of the career space department. So within community-based research, you're able to complete 4-credit research with local organizations, and there's really a wide range of different types of organizations that participate in this. And you also work closely with a faculty who would be part of the research project, in addition to one of the Trent Community Research Center project coordinators. So it's really quite a collaborative effort. And it's such a wonderful way to make a big impact in your community. So organizations have the opportunity to put forward a problem or a question that they'd like to explore further, and maybe they don't have the resources available to do that within their organization. So this is a way for them to pursue that, and also such a great way for students to gain that research experience. And here we just have a sample project that a student worked on, and it's engaging at-risk youth in alternative settings. The partner organization was Trillium Lakeland's District School Board, and students engaged in research to increase participation in programming for at-risk youth. As part of this, we also have a wonderful celebration every year at the end of the year, the Celebration of Research, which brings our organizations, students, faculty, and the community together to learn more about all of these wonderful community-based research projects that students have been working on.
So we also want to make sure that we share some more information about the great career support and development that's available to you, both as a student at Trent and then also as an alumni. So here are some of the different areas that our careers team at CareerSpace can support you with. So you have the opportunity to book appointments for one-on-one career counseling with our career counselor, who can help you answer questions like, what can I do with my degree? I need support applying to graduate school. I just don't know a lot about different career paths and options available to me. And they can also help you to complete some career assessments if you just are looking for some more guidance and want to know what could be a good fit with your skills and your interests. We offer career readiness workshops throughout the academic year as well, on a weekly drop-in basis typically. So you are always available to go onto what we call the student experience portal, which you will get to know really well. And that's where you book appointments. And you can also take a look at the events calendar and see things that are happening on campus. So you can always sign up to attend a workshop. We also have a career advisor on campus who supports students with resumes, cover letters, and LinkedIn critiques. So you can always book those appointments as well. And then we have interview preparation. So all students can book mock interview appointments or just interview prep appointments to learn more about how to prepare for an interview. We also have a platform at Trent called Big Interview, which all students and alumni have access to. And so that's a virtual mock interviewing tool. So you can actually practice your interview skills with AI interviewers and learn a little bit more about appropriate answers to say to different interview questions. You can complete some interview skills curriculum through that as well. And then we also have great programming through CareerSpace called Career Peers. So we have a team of upper year students that are trained in different aspects of career development. And so they can really be a nice bridge if you're more comfortable meeting with a peer rather than a staff member to start, for example. And they can offer peer-to-peer support in the form of resume or cover letter critiques and support with job searching. You'll also just see the career peers around campus doing outreach in different buildings and tabling, so you'll get to know who they are as well.
There are a number of work search opportunities available to you as a Trent student as well. We have on-campus employment opportunities that are posted on the student and alumni job board in the student experience portal. These are opportunities to work with various departments on campus during the academic year that would typically take place on a part-time basis for about 10 hours a week. And then in the summers, there are some full-time job opportunities where you might be working 35 hours a week. This is a really great way to build experience while you're studying and to also get to know more about how the university works and how everything's connected. There is some eligibility tied to some of these positions. For example, some positions might be funded through a particular program we have called the Trent Work Study Program, which students who are in receipt of OSAP or similar financial supports would qualify for, but there are lots of other opportunities as well. We also have a range of employer information sessions on campus. So this might be where an employer is invited to speak about the opportunities to work with their organization, and these happen throughout the year. We have a very exciting one coming up in the new year with the Government of Canada, where they're going to talk all about their student opportunities. And then, as I mentioned, we have the Student and Alumni Job Board. This is in the Student Experience portal. And this is not only where on-campus employment opportunities are posted, but we also have organizations from outside the university posting opportunities here, both part-time and full-time. So you have access to this job board as a Trent student, but you also have access as an alumni after graduation and can continue to come back and check that job board for opportunities.
And as we mentioned, we do run a number of events through CareerSpace that are available to you. So here are some of our biggest events listed on the screen. We have a volunteer fair that runs every September. It's usually in about the second week of September, and we bring a bunch of volunteer organizations to campus to share a little bit more about their work, and there's opportunities for students to get involved with volunteering in the community. We have our Graduate and Further Education Expo that prepares you to learn all about different academic graduate programs. So both programs available at the graduate level at Trent, but we also bring in other post-secondary institutions to campus to share more about their programs. So upper year students typically find this to be a really great opportunity, but I would encourage anybody to attend if you're even thinking about graduate school, just to learn a little bit more about opportunities available to you. We have our Career and Experience Expo series that runs every year, and it's often done in the form of multiple mini expos. So this year, for example, we had 2 running in the fall term, and we have 2 more running in the winter term. And at these career expos, we bring employers onto campus. Every employer would have a table, and students are invited to connect with employers, network, and also just explore opportunities that they might have for upcoming jobs. We have our celebration of research that Nicole mentioned. It's part of the Trent Community Research Center. It takes place every year in March, and it's a celebration of student research projects who engaged in community-based research with community partners as well as faculty members. So it's a really great celebration we have every year. And then we do have different employer sessions, as Nicole mentioned as well, both on campus and virtual, with different employers looking to hire and just share more information with students. And then we have our Life After Trent series, which is a really exciting one where we bring alumni of Trent back to campus to host different events and do career conversations and talks with students to share more about their career path, the field they might be working in. We have panel events for Life After Trent, and they're often targeted to different programs and different industries. So it's really great opportunity to hear from alumni who have been in the same place as our Trent students. And so that's really it. We've reached the end of our presentation. There's some more information here on the screen with our website and then our email addresses. If you'd like to contact us, you can also just reach out to any one of those email addresses with any question and it will get back to us. But we're happy to answer any questions that folks might have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sabrina and Nicole. We have a couple popular questions that students have asked. The first one being, are the internships only unpaid options?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the internships are often fully paid options. So internships are full-time experiences. They are for academic credit, and some different academic programs offer internships. So one I can think of that's very popular at Trent is the School of Business. They have a paid internship opportunity. Internships can be anywhere from 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, or 16 months in duration, depending on the opportunity, available to students in business administration, accounting, and economics.
Perfect. Another question is, does any of the internship information apply to grad school? Some students are looking into grad school and are wondering if they're available for any sort of opportunity for co-op.
Like graduate co-op?
Yeah, like a master's co-op.
Yeah. Do you want to take this one, Nicole?
Yes, I'm happy to. So we do have a couple of graduate level programs that will have co-op opportunities starting in fall 2025. So we have our new Master of Arts Management program, which will have a 4-month co-op opportunity right at the end. So students will graduate after completing that, but otherwise it functions in the same way as our undergraduate co-ops. The opportunities are paid. Students would still complete like learning objectives, midterm, final evaluations. There would be employer evaluations. Students would also complete a prep course, Co-op 5000, to prepare them for that work term experience. Just rather than doing 3, they're doing the 1 work term. And then we also have the Master of Instrumental Chemical Analysis on the science side that will also have co-op starting this fall. And we'll follow that exact same structure where students end on a co-op work term.
Awesome. Thank you. Another question is about specifically where students can find information in regards to work and study terms, as well as pay and costs for co-op specifically.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say a good resource we have available right now is our co-op website. So if folks visit trentu.ca/co-op, we do have some pages in there targeted to students. We have a co-op student resources page where you can find information sheets for every single co-op program we offer and learn a little bit more about the work term schedule, work opportunities available in that program as well. And on the website, you'll find a page called Work Term Schedule, and you can go through every single co-op work term schedule and find the right one for your program. In terms of fees, when you are out on a work term experience, you're not paying tuition, so you don't have any additional fees. You do pay the same ancillary fees that all Trent students would pay, so it's not co-op specific. The only additional cost you have in co-op is a co-op fee. So it's an administrative fee that all students pay throughout their degree. It's a $750 fee, and it's payable 5 times through the degree program. That being said, we do have a bursary program that students are eligible to apply to. It's called the Co-op Assistance Program, and students can receive that bursary up to 3 times to support with offsetting the cost of the fee, as well as any other costs they might incur during a work term experience.
Awesome. Perfect. Another common question is if a student can transfer into co-op in their later years. So most of them are incoming students starting in January and are wondering, since they chose the non-co-op option, if they could switch into the co-op at some point during their academic journey.
I can take that one since we're kind of in the midst of transfer in right now at Trent for co-op. So students can apply to transfer into co-op in the winter semester of their first year. We don't allow students to transfer in typically beyond that. And that's due to the very set work study schedule that you would have seen on our earlier slides for the co-op alternating and co-op continuing models. So students can apply to transfer in, and then we would assess applications based on students meeting the co-op requirements. So meeting the cumulative average requirement, which is 75% for a number of our programs. Some programs have other additional requirements as well. Students would need to be studying full time, so co-op is not available for part-time students. So ideally by the end of first year, students would be on track to have 5 credits completed. And then they would need to be in a program that has co-op, if that makes sense. For some programs, like maybe in the humanities and social sciences, they could maybe transfer into a different co-op program. But yeah, those would be the base requirements to transfer into co-op.
Awesome. Thank you. Another question is, what's the benefit of the co-op alternating versus the co-op continuing, and why would you want to choose one over the other?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do have both those different models available. That being said, students don't have the choice to choose one. It is already tied to the specific program you're in. So for example, our software engineering co-op program, that is a co-op continuing model. And the benefit of a continuing model is that you get really in-depth exposure to a single employer, and you get to see 3 seasons, so a full cycle of the year with that host employer, and learn a little bit about what the industry is like in all those different seasons. You're also, through that in-depth exposure, you're really building on those skills, and students often get to really complete quite a few special projects during their time. So you're going to see significant growth and really make some strong impressions on an employer. The co-op alternating model is the model we see for the other co-op programs we offer. The majority of our programs follow a co-op alternating. And the benefit of that is that it's really more of an exercise in career exploration. So you can go to 3 very different employers if you'd like to, and you can explore 3 really different work term experiences and get a better sense of what you like and what you maybe don't like or isn't as much of a fit for you. But it is already tied to your program. So depending on the program you're interested in, you can see online what model that program would follow.
Perfect. Another question is, for co-op, how do students typically find their employment opportunities? Are they going to be placed in an opportunity, or is it up to them to search for one on their own?
This is a really great question. This is probably one of our most common questions, so I'm glad that it was asked tonight. So co-op is different than a placement. So when a student's in placement, there might be a little bit more of a matching process where the coordinator connects them to an employer. With co-op, as Sabrina mentioned in the presentation, it's an opportunity to experience what a real world recruitment process is like and to get that taste of the labor market. So students do apply and compete for co-op jobs. Our team does work to make employer connections, and we source and develop co-op opportunities, and they're then posted on a co-op job board. that the students have access to, and they would apply and interview for positions with employers selecting the candidate that they'd like to hire. Students also have the option to search for their own co-op opportunities. So they're not limited to our co-op job board. They're able to search outside that. Maybe they have someone in their network who's hiring, for example.
Perfect. Another question is, if you are in a dual degree program, are you still able to do a co-op?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you're thinking of like the Swansea dual degree programs, or even if you had an interest in a joint major, co-op is not an option for those programs, unfortunately. It is currently tied just to single major honors programs. And a lot of the reason for that is just with the academic degree mapping that's involved to ensure that course requirements can all be completed around the set schedule. That being said, there are so many other great forms of experiential learning outside of co-op that our office is happy to support you in exploring. So our community-based research, for example, is available to any student. You can do it as part of a course, or you can do it as an independent project for academic credit. Different courses you undertake might have a placement built into them or community service learning, so we could explore that. We could connect you to a career advisor or career counselor just for support in gaining relevant experience related to your degree. So co-op is fantastic, but it is definitely not the only form of experiential learning, and we love all of the forms, so we're happy to connect you to the right one for your program.
Awesome. Another question is, can paid co-op opportunities be given to international students without a working visa?
Yeah, so that's maybe, yeah, sure. Nicole, you too.
Sure. So for international students that are in a co-op program, it's really important that they have the co-op work permit to be able to access those co-op work term opportunities. So for students applying directly to a co-op program, they will likely be issued that co-op work permit so that by the time they're approaching their first work term, that's already going to be in place. For international students who might apply to transfer into co-op in winter semester of their first year, that would be a case where we would connect the student with Trent International directly to get that co-op work permit application process started. We say at least 6 months before the first work term to start that process.
Perfect. Another question is, will there be opportunities for internships and co-ops as long as a student meets the 80% requirement, or is there a limitation based on the employers for a limited number of spots?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It really does depend on the program. Some programs are a little bit more competitive and might have a cap established to them. In terms of employers, we don't have a set number of opportunities. So there are lots of great opportunities to apply to, as long as you do meet the admissions average and you do receive an offer of admission for a co-op program, then you would be in co-op and we would support you through that process in finding employment.
Perfect. Another common question is, are there internships in the fields of sociology and archaeology? And how would that look if the student were to want to go abroad on certain different aspects of their journey?
Yeah, so we don't have formal internships for sociology and archaeology, but we do have co-op available for those programs. So that's your full-time paid work experience. Both of those programs follow the co-op alternating model, so opportunities for 3 separate 4-month experiences, or 1 4-month and 1 8-month experience. And we do also have study abroad options available for international. So if you had an interest in going abroad, there is study abroad available. I do believe the archaeology program might have like an abroad placement opportunity that's available as well that you can explore through the academic program. In terms of international work terms, that's not a common thing we see right now. So we do, right now, our international work terms are more maybe remote opportunities, for example, that we see in like the tech sector in the United States. But we do have to make sure as the opportunities are all fully paid experiences, and we do need to be mindful of any like abroad visa or work requirements. Those ones are a little bit trickier to secure. So we kind of more focus on the Canadian and American landscape for co-op anyways, but there is opportunities for study abroad and abroad placements.
Perfect. Another common one is there supplementary applications to apply for the co-op?
To apply for co-op, you would apply directly through OUAC. So there's no supplementary application. It would just be if you're not entering Trent in a co-op program and you wanted to apply to transfer in that winter semester of your first year.
Perfect. Another one is, what does co-op look like in a less specialized program, for example, or the Bachelors of Arts in Science?
I can speak to that. That's one of the programs that I coordinate. And then I also coordinate the humanities. So I think in terms of co-op within these programs, you can access such a wide range of different opportunities. So with these programs, you're really building so many transferable skills, those critical thinking, research, writing skills that are really valuable to a wide range of employers. And the other thing in those programs is you have a lot of room to take different courses and explore your interests in addition to your major. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can do. We've had students work in like archive settings. We've had students work as a program manager, like the gender and social justice student we highlighted in the presentation. We've had students work at historical sites. We've had students work in on-campus positions. So I think you can really tailor the experience, and you can try 3 completely different things. You can do 3 work terms that are related to each other. We also survey students about their work term interests prior to a work term so that our outreach to employers is coordinated and we're looking for different types of opportunities that would be a good fit. So you really can tailor the co-op experience to whatever it is that you're interested in within the arts.
Perfect. Another one is, if I were to take a co-op, would a joint major or a co-op and a minor be possible? The student's looking specifically to do archaeology and was wondering whether it wouldn't be ideal to mix the two together.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So yeah, just to reiterate, co-op is only available for single major honors. So we don't allow joint majors in co-op, but co-op students can explore a minor or an option or a specialization. So Trent is really unique in that there are so many different pathways and avenues for you to explore to really kind of curate your degree and make it your own. So co-op students are more than welcome to do that. We just don't have joint majors available for co-op.
Perfect. Another question is, can I apply to the co-op program even if I have a scholarship coming into Trent?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have students on scholarship that are in co-op programs. So same as any Trent student, that's great.
Perfect. I have a couple questions specifically regarding where they can find specific information about co-op on their specific program. They just want to have specific links to any specific person they can reach out to or anywhere they can find, whether they're program of interest has a co-op listed, aside from the wonderful slide that you showed earlier in case they missed it.
Yeah, no problem. So I did post a link in the chat a few minutes ago. So that's to our Career Space Co-op website. That does have more in-depth information about the co-op work term process and different programs and pages for students as well. I will also post a link to our Contact Us page for co-op specifically, so you can find the appropriate coordinator for the program you're interested listed there, and you're more than welcome to reach out to the specific coordinator for your program to learn a little bit more.
Perfect. Another question is, are there any job fairs that are open to all university students across the province just for future opportunities for employment?
Yeah, so we do have series of career expo events, which are on-campus job fairs essentially, where we bring employers to campus. Any Trent student is eligible to attend those events. A lot of our career space events are just open to all students, and even opportunities for alumni to get connected as well.
Perfect. I have a couple questions regarding the celebration of research, and a couple students have asked if it's only available to third and fourth year students or if it's open to first year students as well.
So in terms of students that would have their work featured, and Sabrina, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's typically third and fourth year students that are completing these community-based research projects. That's not to say if you are in your first or second year and you want to see what it's all about, you could definitely drop by and check out the event. All of the research posters that students create as part of their projects are on display. So it's a really great way to see what it's all about and explore if it might be something you're interested in.
Perfect. Another question is, does specializations shown on different programs that they have registered in, do you need to have specific courses completed before starting the co-op, or if it's available to not have certain prerequisites completed prior to starting co-op?
Yeah, so I think I'm understanding the question, but if I'm not, feel free to just clarify what specifically you're looking for. So as we mentioned, co-op is predominantly a direct entry program. So the prerequisites you need to complete are often grade 12 high school courses like grade 12 English, and there might be like specific math or biology or chemistry for different programs that you're interested in. There's no Trent prerequisites or university prerequisites to get admitted to a co-op program. And then I know there was something about specializations. So you can work towards completing a specialization once you get to Trent. You'll be all familiar with our lovely academic calendar, which is kind of your like main resource when you're here at Trent. And so you'll see all the degree requirements for different specializations, and you can work with an academic advisor and they can support you in making sure you're on track. And then when you near the end of your degree, you can declare that specialization, and it can be featured on your degree parchment when you graduate.
Perfect. We're coming to the end of the last few questions. Another really common one is, can any degree do a term abroad?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. Our Trent International Department would be the best folks to answer specific questions about study abroad. But to my knowledge, I don't think there's a restriction on like what programs can go. So often what would happen is you'd book an appointment with a study abroad advisor, and then you would learn about different places abroad you're eligible to go based on your program and different courses that are offered. And then they would support you through that process and getting anything you need to go study abroad. But to my knowledge, I don't think there's any restrictions for programs that aren't eligible.
Perfect. And the last two questions, one of them is, do you have any specific information on where students typically end up for their placements in a BBA for co-op?
Yeah, so in terms of specific employers, I can't think of any off the top of my head just because business co-op is not one of the programs I'm as involved in. But I do know that business is very established and has a lot of wonderful employer connections. They recently had a student do a work term at RBC. That was an economics co-op student, but that's certainly the type of setting that a business co-op student could do a work term in as well. So yeah, they have quite established relationships both locally and then beyond into the GTA.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Another. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I could I'm trying to think of employers, Nicole, as you were talking, it's giving me some more time. But business is really unique in that it has multiple different specializations. So we do have students working in like marketing, human resources, entrepreneurship, finance. So kind of depending on the specialization, if you are pursuing one, that can dictate the types of opportunities. So we do see students at banks, accounting firms. I can think like Baker Tilly, KPMG, Govro is a local accounting firm in Peterborough that often takes a lot of students as well. So there's sometimes opportunities to work on campus too, like in our human resources department. I know they've hired business students before. So it is quite broad. It's definitely not limited to certain employers. So in co-ops and internships, there's opportunities for you to also bring employers forward that you might want to work, and the staff can support in that outreach, and you can also find your own opportunity. But if you're interested in learning more about like specific employers, definitely visit that contact co-op page and you can get in touch with the School of Business directly.
Perfect. The last question we have is, does the journalism co-op also fall into communications? Are they kind of flexible in that manner?
Yeah, so we have the communications co-op program at the Durham campus. The journalism program does not have a formal co-op. So I guess it's not so flexible in that manner, but our communications program is a really nice mix of like business administration, English literature courses. So you do really get it's very multidisciplinary and you get some opportunities to really diverse employers. If you are interested in journalism specifically, you could connect, I would suggest, with the program itself at Trent Durham, because there might be like a placement opportunity or something more tied to the academic program that they could support you with.
Perfect. So I think we are nearing the end of our live stream. I just want to thank you all for joining us today. Huge thank you to Sabrina and Nicole for answering the questions and giving us a great set of information in regards to co-op and experiential learning. If you have any other questions that we didn't answer, or if you have any that you think about later, feel free to reach out to the links that we have provided there in the chat. As well as if you want to go on the website, there's a ton of information there and awesome resources that you guys can use. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope to see you soon. And if there's anything that Sabrina and Nicole you'd like to add. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Hopefully you guys have a good evening. And once again, if you have any questions, feel free to hop onto any of these websites links. Thank you.